sketchyGOichie.
Okay, here we go. We're off and running on yet another quad squad. This one I'm calling the Monstarrrs. How clever, right? There are some stars here. Hopefully you're picking this up. Quad squad game, to reiterate. 4 quadrants. Take a page, divide it into 4. 1 line down the center, right across the center. So 2 lines actually. All right. 4 basic shapes in each quadrant, lightly rendered in, and then you apply artwork on top of each, completely out of your mind, your imagination, your creativity, and you go from one quadrant to the next, and you see where you stand at the end of the page. Okay, so we're going to do a star one. This is in Procreate. These are on their own layers. I created the stars on their own layer, the line that divides it, and the art that I'm going to put on top of that line art, or should I say those stars. Alright, so we're going to zoom in on this guy, and there is no limitations whatsoever, but I'm going to do little monster characters in each. I'm going to use the star as a binding shape, and we're going to let it rip. Alright, so let's see what happens. Okay. I am not going to do a tremendous amount of render for each, because I literally just want this to be a complete and total freestyle. Alright? And that's kind of the point I want to make with each one of these drawings. Complete and total freestyle. Not the point here is not to be incredibly well rendered. Although, you know, if you got it in you, you got it in you. And some people do. Some people are tremendous illustrators, and it literally comes right off the page. I'm okay at it, but some people are phenomenal at it, and no matter what they do, it's gonna look great. All right. So this is gonna be monster number 1. Because we're in Procreate, I am going to do a nice little flop job or flip. I'm going to render 1/2, and then I'm going to take it and flip it and basically duplicate it and move it onto the other side. So I'm going to do the 1/2 on this side. You will see, and then I'm going to flip it and then make adjustments as needed. Okay, so let me zoom in so you guys can see it a little better. So just a quick sketch, sort of like a fanged face. All right. Notice I've extended the art beyond the star. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to erase this little section here. There's a little horn there. Then I'm going to use the selection tool. Draw around him. That's a 3-finger swipe. Then we're going to do a copy paste. So it's essentially created a new layer, inserted art layer on top. All right, as you can see. So I'll take our selection tool. I will flip horizontal. Make sure the magnetic is selected, and I'll literally drag it across until I get it to the right place for me, which is right about there. Okay. There will be some overlap. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can take that layer that's overlapping on this side and just erase the extra stuff. All right, the little extra overlap there. I actually like the way these teeth meet in the center, so I'm going to leave them as is. Then you can go to the other layer, take that little portion, you know, then you can join the two by simply pinching the two layers together. As you can see, go back to your pen tool and close that off. Okay. And then now we have that little face. Not little face, it's a pretty big face. And then I'm going to erase the little excess that's outside the star. I could have did it on one side, and then before I duplicated it, would have probably been wiser, but it won't take that long to do that. Okay. And then for the heck of it, I'm going to put a little something on the outside. For the heck of it. That's what this is all about, right? Well, that kind of looked like a Christmas tree. Trust me, the point is not Christmas tree. I'm going for this guy. It's just kind of a furry dude. And it's just simple lines. That represent hair texture. The way to achieve that is just kind of alternate them. And then every now and then kind of double up, meaning a couple in the same direction and then the opposite direction. The more inconsistent you are with something that is organic, the better. You'll find that to be the case. The more you draw, the more organic items get inconsistent lines, the better and more sort of lifelike it feels. Whenever you want to draw something like buildings or cars and everything, the more linear you want to be with the lines, the more rigid. You want the curls. The curves to be more perfect. But when it's something that's organic, you definitely want less perfection. Less perfection reads better. Reads a little more lifelike. Particularly in your line art, you will definitely find that to be the case when you're rendering in line. So anyway, so this almost guy number one. I love that weird shape that formed in down the center. I love happy accidents when they happen. And you will too if you're just kind of in there freestyling. Oftentimes you can't find those happy accidents if you're so rigid and so pinned down on what you're trying to render. Don't allow yourself to be so rigid, and you will discover some happy little accidents like I just did. This forms the kind of gums, I guess, of this creature. So anyways, so this star number one. I'm going to move over to star number two. What am I going to do for this one? How about we do a big eye in the center? Alright, great little thing that happens in Procreate. How it took that line, that sort of curved line, see how kind of jagged it is, and if you just hold down, it makes like a perfect, it corrects the line. But it's like I described earlier, that's too perfect for something organic. So, thick and thin, that line, see that's a little thicker at that side, and I'll sort of bring that over here, that side. Now it's irregular, so it's a little more lifelike. And I'll just draw some little ticks to kind of give it some dimension. Okay. I'm gonna give this guy kind of a funky eye. Why? Because we can. Doesn't have to. Who says it has to be a perfect eye shape? Right? I don't know who says it. If they say it, we're not listening. Right? Alright. So there's that. we're going to, and we're going to flop, so we're going to give him his ear over here. And do we give him, no, we're not even going to give him a nose. We'll put his mouth over here. Again, more irregular. Yeah, I can flop or flip, or whichever word you prefer, the mouth, but sometimes I like to render the whole mouth, particularly if there's a kind of an emotion I'm going for. In this case, I'm going to want this kind of dopey look, and I thought just a little bit, mouth open a little bit on one side, kind of says that. All right. And we're going to round off the top of his head there. I'm going to fill the shape with black. And a way to do that is to grab and fill that shape from whatever color you have selected in this circle. You just literally physically drag it into the enclosed shape, but that shape has to be enclosed. It has to be a complete shape, right? It can't be open, or this will happen, and we don't want that. Okay, so continuing on with this weird ogre or one-eyed cyclops thing we got going on here. You know, maybe I will draw little nostrils on him. I think it can't hurt. Laugh line too. Okay. Give him a little hair. Fun thing I like to do oftentimes, again because I work so much in line art, I have to find some little tricks and tips that I want to pass on to you guys, but one of those is don't be afraid to use that eraser tool. I mentioned it in a previous post. Or I usually use the technical pen, or I've got a sort of they're both customized, but the studio pen I use for thicker, bigger erasers. It's been altered to be a much fatter pen. The technical's a little more precise in some of the settings that I put on here. And then over here you can adjust the size of the brush, and here's the opacity. Let's put that at max. All right, and then you can kind of erase away little areas, as you can see. Not sure why he's got some extra hairs coming off, but he does. You can see how beneficial it is to be able to erase sections away. You can kind of bring parts to life just by doing so. Take little mistakes away, of course, which is what most erasers are intended for. Take erasing mistakes. But you know, I like this. Some added little techniques you can kind of do with it as well. All right, we'll go back to our pen tool. Put our finishing touches on this guy. Give him a little gap tooth. Okay, and then I'm going to flop or flip, whichever we choose to select. I'm going to just do this half of the star, the left side. We're going to flip it again. Three finger swipe brings this palette up. Copy, paste. Okay. Flip horizontal, make sure magnet is on, and the magnet, see that line? It precisely keeps it on the same path. Okay? Alright, see what's going on there? Then you pinch the two. You notice how this one's labeled art, it's underneath, and this is that inserted image. If you pinch Let me zoom in on him. We'll pinch these two together. If it'll let me. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little more black on this corner here. I think it needs it. On that corner as well. A couple of those little stubbly ticks in there. And we'll bring a few of these white ones in. Alright. And that's that character. That's character number 2. Okay. Moving on to star number 3. Again, maybe we'll make sure we've selected our trusty technical pen. Star, let's see. Got some weird demon wolf looking thing. Got some weird ogre looking character. Or should I say cyclops character. Let's see, what's the third one going to be? You know, let me just start drawing something, see what happens. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna flip, see, got it right this time. I'm gonna flip this, so I'm only gonna render the left side. I know it going into it, so kind of in my mind I'm kind of making mental adjustments, knowing that I'm only going to be doing that side of it. This is the fun part of these things. I don't yet have a game plan of what this character is going to be, but because I love drawing characters, something invariably emerges. It hasn't failed me yet, and hopefully it will continue to be my friend. Alright, so I'm liking these weird nostrils on this. Actually, this guy doesn't even need a nostril if it so pleases the court. Alright. Okay. So this guy is going to be some sort of aquatic sea creature thing. So he's got his aquatic teeth. By the way, if you're wondering, these are supposed to be gills. These guys right here. Okay, I'm gonna color in some of the darker areas behind the teeth, just to kind of give it some little more ferocity. I think it'll work out well, especially when I do the flip. Okay. It's got some weird shapes happening under. Right under his I guess lower jaw area. If you ask me what the anatomy of this is, I couldn't tell you. Oops, don't need that one. And that's clearly not the purpose of this. Is to for anatomy study, but however, if I were rendering a real character, by that I mean something in a movie, or a character that is, to be a toy, I would try to put some thought towards the anatomy. I find when you try to do real life anatomy, or should I say, introduce real life anatomy, what often happens is it roots that character in the real world, if you will. And when you do, it becomes more acceptable for the audience, I think. That character becomes something that, like, it's got some sort of, it gives the viewer some sort of something to tether themselves to the real world, even though it's a completely fictional character. Alright, so there's one half. Again, selection tool. Grab I'm going to do the entire shape. I'll just erase out all this extra stuff that's going to invariably get duplicated. Okay, 3-finger swipe down, brings this palette up, copy paste. All right, flip horizontal, magnet is on, and drag him over into about there. Okay, maybe a touch in a little more. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna, in this case, I'm gonna combine the 2 layers here, and then I'm just gonna do my altering or my combining on here. So we'll connect the center shape. All right, that actually worked out pretty well along the center. In this case, I want the teeth. I like the double center teeth. That's really a fun look whenever I see it in creature design. When the fangs down the center rather than fangs along the side like a vampire. I love that look. All right, put a little darker shadow onto that part. There's a little extra thing in here I will get rid of. There's a bunch of extra stuff in there, but I like the roughness of sometimes this not completely filled in black area. Sometimes is really pleasant to see. Okay. Gotta make it a little meaner by making that brow look, or that upper brow look a little gnarlier. I don't know if you guys notice as well, I like to vary the line weight throughout. Darker in some areas, lighter in others. I think it tricks the eye into thinking there's some depth where there really isn't any. Right? So an outside shape this one too, like I did in the first one. Generally how I decide what areas get darker is usually I pick one side of a shape. You know, generally if it's away from the light, it generally is the bottom side, like, you know, so that's a little lighter on that side, and I feel like this would be away from the light, so it's a little black. The line weight's a little heavier there. Hope you noticed that. A lot of fun things you can do by just not simply drawing a line. You can do that. Again, I feel like it makes it look less organic when you do, so you just kind of vary the line, and that'll give you a more organic feel whenever you're inking something. It's something huge to bear in mind. So again, thicker along the bottom. We'll kind of give it some depth. See? Hopefully that's coming through. And then vary the line as much as possible. I don't know if you noticed, I probably could have flopped the outer point. All of this I probably could have drawn and flopped. The reason I didn't is, yes, I did do this on purpose, is I think it's more irregular if that's just a little bit longer than that side. It's a subtle difference if this eye isn't quite the same as that one. I think it's, I don't know. Sometimes when things are a little too symmetrical on these, when you flop them, they look odd. I mean, the thing's meant to look odd because it's some weird imaginary creature, but in certain cases, I think it's better. You know, some things can match perfectly, and you can just, again, do that simple technique and, flip the entire image, or in this case, you just sort of do in a regular shape. And I think it's definitely more pleasing, in my opinion. And not that it's only my opinion that counts, but I guess when I'm doing the drawings it does. So that is just about there on our aquatic creature. Okay, so there's 3 of the 4 being quadrants filled up. Alright, so last one. Let's see what we're going to do with this one. So we'll do something with multiple eyes. How about that? Maybe a little more insect-like. Do the shadow on this side. This is gonna be a weird one. I could tell already, even though I have no clue where I'm going, what direction I'm going in. These weird bulb shapes. Okay. There's my fur technique again. Just sort of key is to alternate. If you go too many going in the same direction, it looks too symmetrical, and then it just doesn't work. Actually, I don't like that last one. Okay, and then we'll draw a little tusk-like thing coming off. Another weird shape. Not sure what would connect this. I guess just do this. This doesn't exist in any universe, so it doesn't matter. I guess that's coming back. And we're gonna top the top of his head off like that. Make sure these are all closed before I fill them by grabbing the color selection up here. In this case, it's pretty easy. It's just black. Obviously, these can be done with any color, you know, because it's your whatever you choose. So that is, I think this character is sufficiently creepy. The goal, as always with this exercise, this quad squad thing, is, like I've mentioned in some of the previous videos, is to simply be creative. Some of them I put them on a clock, meaning, you know, I put a timer on each individual quadrant, really made a legit game out of it. Some of them I just doing them for fun, like this one, and instruction as well. So there is no time limit. So, you know, this may take a touch longer than normal, but the point is I kind of want to demonstrate a little more of what's going on in Procreate. I use it so often, I kind of forget that, you know, maybe people don't have it, or they've never used the app and they're new to it and they want to learn. I forget sometimes that not everybody uses this app for a living like me, so it's incumbent upon me to kind of take some time out, and if I'm going to share these videos, I probably should definitely share some of the ins and outs of the program I'm using. And some of the ins and outs are just literally, it's a combination between using the pen tool and the erase tool to decide what stuff I want to keep and take away, if that makes sense, and I hope it does. You know, just putting, I don't know if you noticed, just putting this little bit of white there kind of gives you the impression the eyeballs, there's more of them and they're going around the corner there. Adding that little highlight on the bottom hopefully gives that little depth, this tusk-like thing, this, or whatever on spiders, that you see spiders close up, they have those little venomous tusk things. That's what this is supposed to be. Okay. Just fixing the hair up there. And just these little ticks and these little things here that kind of give things a little more flavor, which is can't hurt. Okay. So that's that guy. He's finish this off. So we have that all drawn out. Okay. So again, select that half. 3-finger swipe for a copy. I said. No, it's still trying to fill the selection. There it is. Copy paste. Alright. Flip horizontal. And slide it on over. And you know you're on track when you've got that line. See that line? Blue line down the center. Alright. So this one's a little more confused about what it wants to be. But I'm going to erase out all the excess along the side. See what happens. Good news is if I don't like it, 2-finger tap takes it away. 3-finger tap brings it back. Okay? So there's this guy, flip horizontal. I'm going to put him further down. He looked really odd close up. Okay? So that's that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the shape. It's set right now. It's set to freeform. So that means I can drag and pull here. See? Shift the size. But if I take magnet off, now I can really freestyle it. See? I can drag that star over there. If I like. I can move this one in as well. I can move this side out as well if I want. I also, in Procreate, can warp as well, so you can grab sections of it and move it, which I kind of love. So you just grab that section and kind of move it in. You see? Now that's something I can work with. It's still weird looking, but it's supposed to be. Okay? And when you're done, just hit that guy and that gets you out of there. Back to the eraser. Some of this we don't need. I'm going to leave all of that. Yeah, I'm going to leave all that. Okay, joining. Joining 2 layers, pinch them together. Back to the pen tool. Blacken in the whole centerpiece. Alright, this guy's sufficiently creepy, I think. Fill this part down the center. Maybe I'll take away that stuff in the middle. So I got kind of connective tissue between both sides. Bring that like that. Oh yeah, he's definitely a creepy looking character. And actually, I oftentimes don't want both sides to match up perfectly. Looks a little funny sometimes, but in this case I think it works. Actually kind of looks a little sad actually, this character. Anyways, so 4 monsters, 4 quadrants, and in Procreate, a little more sort of insight into how I render when I'm rendering something like this. If it's something that I know needs to have is straight on and it needs to be flopped, I will draw one side, duplicate it, flip it, join it, and there you have it. So just look at it's all on one layer. There's our line, and our stars are still there. They're still there underneath. So if I take away that guy, so I can do another series of art on top if I'd like, just by creating a new layer. But so that is that. Okay, so we had monster number 1, quadrant 1. We had monster number 2, quadrant 2. Weird sort of aquatic looking thing, number 3. And weird, sad, spider, whatever creature, fly, hybrid in number 4. So there's another Quad Squad. Hope you guys dig it. You know what to do. Oh, by the way, if you like this art and some of the other videos, become a patron. Go to Patreon, look up sketchyGOichie on Patreon, sketchyGOichie, and yeah, feel free to become a patron. Support what I'm doing here. I'm trying to grow, and any little bit counts, or any lot of bit counts. It's up to you. And yeah, I'm really trying to build a following, and I'm really trying to expand my technology as well, and any little bit would help. Anyways, so thanks a ton. Here's my Quad Squad. Love to see what you do with your own 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants of fun. Throw some monsters in there. Throw whatever you want in there. Be creative. All right, sketchyGOichie. Live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Peace.